What's going on, guys? TBF Gaming, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're going to jump into an Ark Eternal guide. So a lot of times on the channel we just do playthroughs, walkthroughs, different things like that, but occasionally we like to stop and do either a guide or a mod spotlight or something a little bit different on the channel just to kind of vary the content, and that's what we want to do today. We've had a few messages on Discord from friends of the channel that have wanted to get into Ark Eternal, but a lot of times it's a little bit daunting. This mod has so many dinos, tools, structures, and other things that it adds to the game that a lot of people just feel really overwhelmed jumping into a mod like this. This is one of the larger mods that I played. The Ark Eternal is a mod developed by Lucian Kane with assistance from Prom, Azrael Kane, and Zathura, as well as other people. They have a really active Discord, and honestly, it's one of those Discords that if you get involved in it and you provide good feedback, you can see some of the things that you talk about end up in the mod, which is absolutely amazing. So Eternal is an overhaul mod. It adds somewhere over 600 dinos, has unique taming, dino evolution, tiered dino systems, end bosses, secret and tribute dinos that you can only get by going out and killing things out in the world, and it's a work in progress, which means that Lucian Kane is working on it constantly. So LK has been a long-time friend and supporter of the channel. I appreciate you, LK, definitely. So we wanted to do a little bit of video on this. So there's no way that I can cover everything in one video, so I'm going to do my best to kind of just give you guys a general overview. Like I said, there's no way that we can do it all in one video, but if there is interest in this, definitely let me know down in the comments below if there's other stuff within this mod that you guys want to hear about, or you want to see a video on, or if you want to see more specific stuff, or if you just want to watch a playthrough. I have like 4 or 5 playthroughs on Eternal alone. Definitely one of my favorite mods, so let's definitely jump into it. As always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. So we're going to do this in a few different categories. First thing we're going to talk about is the dinos and some of the tiers within those dinos. So first one here, we have the vanillas, still important within the Ark Eternal mod. You got to use them early on to help you with gathering and a little bit of survival, but they can't really hold their own against the Eternal, so you got to move quickly into the Eternal stuff. The first tameable thing within this version here on the extinction map is the corrupted guys. The corrupted guys are tameable, so you can come over here and tame them on this map. I don't know if they spawn in on other maps. I haven't seen them, but if they do, if they're designed on that map, they are tameable within Ark Eternal, which is really cool. All right, next version is the Eternal versions. These guys are a pretty big step up from vanilla, fairly strong. A lot of them have additional either evolutions or additional functions that they can do, like crafting different things on their inventory, which we'll show you here in a few minutes with some of the crafting dinos. We'll get to that in a minute. The Dodos are really important within this mod. These guys actually lay a bunch of eggs, which are used in a lot of different crafting recipes. And this guy is one of your first evolution type ones that can evolve into a Raphis Dodo. You just put this stuff on his inventory and you hit evolve, and we'll talk about evolutions in a separate video, but really cool. You got the Eternal guys, and like I said, this is only a small amount of the Eternal guys. There's a whole bunch more at this tier. All right, we're going to move over into our elemental tiers. The first one here is Cursed. Cursed does a special cursed attack when they hit you, or when you use them and you hit other people. They have a really cool look. They are not tameable dinos. You'll see them out in the wild. They are not tameable. They are evolution only. You have to use a special potion to evolve them into Cursed. I believe it's called the Elemental Cursed Potion in order to evolve them into this. All right, really cool looking. Let's move into some more of the elemental ones. First one we have here is the lightning version. All right, the fire versions, and the elemental poison versions. There you go. So it kind of gives you an idea of the 4 different elemental ones as well as the ice one. There you go. Ice, also like Cursed, is not something that you can tame. They are non-tameable, but you can evolve your dinos into the ice version. There you go. Now, what's really important to note about the poison and lightning version is they do torpor, so you can use these guys to knock out other dinos. This is kind of your first dino that can go around and do that for you and really helps out for taming. The poison one does a little bit more torpor. The lightning one also does a little like electrostatic attack where it electrocutes the other dinos and they can't move for a few seconds, so it helps out a lot, so you're not getting attacked quite as much. But there you go. There's the elemental versions. So moving on from the elemental guys to the alpha versions, these are quite a bit stronger than the elemental or the Eternal versions. These ones are actually really strong. They also have some that can evolve into higher versions, but you have your alpha corrupted version on the right side, the alpha Rex, the alpha corrupted Pteranodon, and then the alpha Pteranodon, which I'm going to talk about for just a second. And then the end down here, you have an alpha dire bear and an alpha megatherium. Now, the alpha Pteranodon is really cool because it can evolve into other separate alpha versions. You can see this guy right here, the Eternal Alpha Lightning Pteranodon and the Eternal Alpha Poison Pteranodon. Pretty much you put a certain type of gem on this guy, you hit the evolution button, and he turns into one of these two. Just like we talked about with the elemental versions, this is the next tier for your knockout dinos that you can actually take around and knock out things, and these ones are quite a bit stronger than those elemental versions. These can knock out the next tier above them, so they're really important for that. The elemental dino can't go knock out 2 tiers above it, but this one can knock out that next tier up. The bear also has a variant of the lightning and poison as well, if I remember correctly, at the alpha version. All right, so that's your alphas. Those guys are really cool. Over here on the left side, we got something kind of a little offshoot. I wasn't sure where they fit in terms of the tier. These guys are mainly on aberration. That's why they were created back in the day. They give a radiation buff that allows you to go down into the radiation zone. So you can ride those to do that. I do see them here around the extinction area. I haven't seen the Equus ever, but I've definitely found the Raptor several times. And like I said, it gives you a little radiation buff. All right, so for the next tier is the Prime tier. This tier is really important. You start getting into the really heavy damage dealers, as well as some of the really important poison and electric dinos. This is the ones we have here. You've got your Trike, the Dodo, the Rock Drake, and the Rex. Just like with the other tiers, there's plenty of other dinos that fall within this. These are just the ones I want to show off real quick. They look absolutely amazing. The Prime Pteranodon, just as before, it can evolve. Oh, and the Phoenix is back there. I almost forgot that guy. And in Eternal, they have a Phoenix that can land. So the Alpha and the Prime Phoenix can land and walk around, which is really cool. But the Prime Pteranodon can be evolved into a lightning or poison variant. Same thing as before, and these guys can pretty much knock out the majority of the dinos within Ark Eternal, with the exception of a very few. But they're very, very powerful and definitely help out a lot. This is like the first huge knockout artist that you get that you can take on most of the map. And there's one more tier above this to take on the top level dinos that these guys can't quite get. But there's not that many that these guys can't handle. They're a lot of fun to fly around. There you go, the Prime Dinos. Now these guys are equivalent to the Prime Dinos. You have the robot Rex, the robot Therizino. There's also a robot Trike and a couple others in there. I think a robot Mosasaurus. And these guys are pretty much on the same level as the Prime Dinos, and they're just really cool variations. The Therizino is a pretty new addition to Ark Eternal. Got a really cool look. There's also a robot Griffin that has an amazing skin on it as well. All right, these guys are just slightly above the Prime Dinos, but they're pretty much the same in terms of overall damage and everything like that. You have your Ghost and your Spectral. So if you see down the bottom left as he disappears and reappears, the Ghost Thyla, top right Ghost Rex, top left Spectral Rex, bottom right Spectral RG. There's a few other within this one too, but these are some of the really cool ones. So the next tier that we have is the Dominus Tier, or the Indominus Tier. The Indominus Gorilla, Broodmother, and Dodo Rex. There's a few others that fill out this tier here, but they're a lot of fun. This guy actually can evolve. If you look inside his inventory, he's just like the Dodo, where he's got the evolutions built into him. You just need certain things on his inventory, and then you hit the evolve button, and we can evolve into the next highest tier, which I'll show you in just a second. But that's your Indominus tier, slightly above the Primes and right below Infernals, which we're about to check out right now. So the next tier is the Infernal. So most of these Prime Dinos can evolve into a Infernal variation, which is one of the top tiers within the Eternal, and can do crazy damage. So they're getting a pretty big boost. So there's a potion that you can make, the Infernal Potion, that you put on these dinos' inventory. You hit the button, and they turn into these guys down here, the Infernal Dinos. These guys are pretty amazing. They have really, really good stats, can do a lot of damage. They also have an Infernal buff, which is like a little purple fire cloud that goes around them that does passive damage to anything around it and can kill it. Sometimes they do torpor as well. But these are the Infernal Dinos. Kind of get an idea of these guys here. And there's quite a few other ones on the list, like the Carcanos and the Griffin, and a lot of other ones that are a lot of fun to check out. Now, these are pretty much the top ones that you typically play with, although there is one evolution that is higher than that. This is the top of the Tameable Dinos. You have the unknown versions. These are variations of the Wyverns. If you get a Prime Wyvern, which I guess we probably should have showed you a Prime Wyvern over there, but the Prime Wyvern and then that Dominus Gorilla can evolve into these guys here. You got the Fire Gorilla and Wyvern. You have the Poison Gorilla and Wyvern, and the Lightning Gorilla and Wyvern. They used to be called Speed, Poison, and Power, I think is what they were called before. But that's the versions there. The Poison and the Lightning do ridiculous amounts of torpor. The Poison one does more torpor. The Lightning one does the lightning effect, the electrocution effect, just like its lower level lightning versions. This last set of dinos is actually part of the Eternal tier, but we want to talk about them really quick because these are some of the more important dinos within the Ark Eternal mod, we have the Anki, the Doedicurus, and the Therizino. These guys are the Eternal variations. The blue version is the no AC version, which stands for no autocraft. And then the regular one on the left side is the one that does auto crafting. Same for the Doedicurus. The one on the left side is the no auto crafting, and then this one is the one that automatically crafts. If you go over here and press E, you can toggle crafting, and then bam, he's doing his crafting. You can also just tap the E button on him. Instead of riding it, if you walk up and try to ride these guys, you automatically ride them. But if you try to walk up to the one that does auto crafting, you're just turning it off and on, kind of like a forge or a mortar pestle or any of those things. Well, not mortar pestle, but like a forge or any of those ones that can turn on and off. The no AC version is just because some people don't like it when it does the auto crafting, so it gives you an option between the two. And like I said, they craft all kinds of important things within the Eternal mod, between meats, metals, different element, some of the kibble, a lot of things like that, whereas the Doedicurus does all kinds of things like narcotics, spark powder, gunpowder, cementing paste. So they're hugely, hugely important. The Therizino I included in this group because he actually has a really good function as well. He makes narcotic as well as some of the potions, and even more important than that, he makes some of the weapon stuff. He makes the pike and all of the different arrows and darts and shocking trank darts, all those different ones that you can use within the Eternal mod. Alright, so we're giving you a brief look at most of the dinos within the mod to kind of gives you an idea. I may have missed a couple tiers within there. Hopefully I covered everything, at least to a decent amount. Something important to know about the Ark Eternal mod is that it relies a lot on the spawn on death mechanic. What that means is when you eat a certain dino, it has a chance to spawn the next tier dino or another type of dino. So if you want to go out and find a prime Rex or a prime Dominus Rex, you have to go around and eat the alpha version of that dino. When you eat that version, when you consume his body, it gives you a 10% chance by default to spawn another dinosaur. And some dinosaurs have several different ones that they can spawn. Sometimes if you eat one dino, it's going to spawn any one of a collection of several dinos, or there's some that just spawn one other dino. There's one other thing that we got to talk about at the very, very end of all these dinos after we go through all of these tiers, and it kind of just gives you an idea of some of the boss stuff. Now, the very top thing that you can possibly have is an evolution chain dino. There's a Dark Star, which we just had a video for it. If you guys go check it out on the channel, the Dark Star. And that's what this is right here. This is an evolution Rex. It's part of the evolution chain. You start with this little compy, and then it goes from compy, it evolves into a raptor, evolves into a carno, which evolves into a, I believe, Rex, which evolves into the, I think, Giga, and then evolves eventually all the way into the Dark Star. And I may have missed one or two. I think the Indom is in there somewhere too, but it basically evolves all the way up to the Dark Star, which is a pretty much map-killing dino. You can go around and just wreck the entire map with the dino. He's super strong, and that's the one you're going to want to take into boss fights. Now, this guy right here, the skeleton one, this is not a tameable dino. This is just one that we spawned in just for this video. This is the Resurrected Rex. There's several different variations of this. You have a Rex, a Raptor. There used to be little Dodos. I haven't seen those in a while. There's a Spino and a Wyvern that all fly around, and when you eat those, it gives you a chance to spawn the bosses. And if you guys go check out some of our videos on the bosses, I'll do a separate video on those, and you can actually see the different bosses that you have a chance to spawn. It's a 10% spawn on death chance, and you can get any one of those bosses. There's a Bigfoot, a Giga, a Wyvern, and a couple other ones in there, as well as the Ursa Major and a couple other ones that we'll talk about in later videos. But like I said, that's not tameable. It's just one that I wanted to show you because you want to go around and eat those guys. Gives you great XP, good drops, and then a chance to spawn the actual boss. Alright guys, that's it for part 1 of the video. What I'm going to do is I'm going to separate it into three videos at least. It'll be the dinos and the spawn on death mechanic in this first video. The next video will be the Ark Eternal structures, and then part 3 will be the items and tools, and we'll be able to talk a little bit about some of the trank arrows and some other really important tools within the mod, so we can go a little bit more in depth into that. I tried to do it all in one video, but it ended up being somewhere around 30 minutes long, and that's just a little bit too long for like an intro guide to get you guys into this mod and playing the mod, because that's what you really want to do. Watch a few of these short videos, jump into the game, play it, have a good time with it. Thank you so much for LK for talking to me real quick about the order of the dinos and everything. Hopefully I got it right. If anyone knows anything that I didn't quite get right, let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in part 2 of this video in a couple days. Also, my finale for this map, the extinction map, should have been up on Sunday if you guys want to go check that out and see what some of the in-game stuff looks like. Alright guys, I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much.